How are you, Kabirians? We are approaching the end of the 2023 video season. A year filled with beautiful adventures together through the fascinating history and culture that envelop our countries on both sides of the ocean. We are now in autumn, and the end of an era is looming on the horizon. It's not just the last quarter of the year, it also feels like, globally, the end of an era in general. Cultures, both in Africa and Latin America, have ancestrally transmitted wisdom through stories, fables, and proverbs as a way to preserve knowledge to remain relevant despite the passage of years and the changes we experience as humanity. These stories are also made more memorable by crafting them into enjoyable narratives filled with rich and magical characters. Personally, I must share with you that some of my fondest memories with my grandfather were precisely the variety of tales he shared from his native Ethiopia. Over time, I discovered, through the voice of my uncle, 1,001 more stories and, through reading, an ocean of Latin American wisdom stored in fantastic tales. Today, I want to share with you a story from southern Ethiopia, from a region called Kaffa, precisely the area where the coffee plant originates. And it also has a beautiful story about how it was discovered. If you'd like to hear it, we invite you to watch our video on the subject. The town of Kaffa is a tropical place full of wonderful and cheerful people, and it is a very ancient and mystical town. The Greeks used to say that their gods descended from these people. But that will be a topic for another wonderful video. The subject of this video is a fable called The Father's Will. This tale was preserved by Imahuzudatu Wudani, a nun from an ancient monastery in Kaffa. We'll leave the link in the description, so you can read more about it. Let's begin. A long time ago, a father had 3 sons. One day he said to them, "I am now in my old age, waiting for death. I will tell you something, and you must do as I say. You must fulfill my orders." His sons accepted his will. Sometime later, without the sons' knowledge, the father obtained 3 boxes. In one of the boxes, he placed money and sealed it. In the second one, he put soil and sealed it. And in the third, he placed gold and sealed it. Shortly after doing this, he passed away, and the burial service was held, and the elders gathered to discuss his will. The father had written the names of his sons on the boxes. So, each of them received according to their names, but they were very surprised when they saw the contents. "Why did our father do this?" one of the sons said. "We can't object because he told us not to," said another son. "Let's go talk to a wise person," said the third son. So, they prepared themselves and went in search of the old wise man. On their way, they came to a river where they saw a crocodile licking drops of water from the grass, and they were surprised. What does this mean? They wondered, but they continued on. Then, they arrived at a lush, green meadow where a very thin horse stood, without a harness, with its mouth free to eat. What does this mean? They pondered. Why does this horse become thin when there is this green grass in front of it? They carried on with their journey. On their third adventure, they reached barren land and saw a huge, fat donkey. And they were amazed. What could this mean? A crocodile licking the grass, a skinny horse in a green field, a fat donkey in barren land. It's a puzzle for us. So they came to the wise man, a seer who solved problems for people. "What is your problem?" the wise man asked. They told him, "Our father left us a will. One of us inherited money, another was left with land, and the third inherited gold. We don't want to quarrel because we promised not to. That's why we have come, to seek your help in unraveling the mystery of what our father meant." The wise man said, "Go see my older brother." The sons were astonished because the first wise man they had visited was quite old. They went to see the older brother and told him their problems. He was a middle-aged man, strong and agile. They were very surprised because their younger brother, the first wise man they had visited, walked bent over with a cane. The man said, "I cannot resolve this. Go see my eldest brother." And so they went. The older brother was very young and strong. When they arrived, they found him plowing the land. "This is a miracle!" they exclaimed. They were astonished. The man took them to his house and asked his wife to bring food. The tradition is to eat meat at the end. You should start with the broth with injera. You eat the bones at the end. But he did the opposite. He chewed the bones, which should have been eaten last, and then he had the broth. Afterward, he said, "Thanks to God." After eating, he asked them, "Did you see how I ate?" They responded that they had. He said again, "I ate all the bones before the broth, which is not our custom. Did you see?" They said, "Yes." He asked, "Do you know why I did that?" They replied that they did not. "It's because you never know when God comes to you, or, in other words, the hour of your death. No one knows this. So I ate the bones first. We live a short time, and we never know when we will die. Nobody knows how God comes to us and takes us away. So I took the best first because I was afraid he might come. If he takes my soul, I won't get it back. We humans run here and there and think a lot, but the decision is God's. No matter how much we toil, whatever we do to fulfill the desires of our life, in the end, it is God's will." He asked them why they had come, and the sons told him their situation. After listening to them, the wise man said, "Your father left you a good will. You," he said to one of them, "are destined to be a farmer. So your father gave you land. You," he said to the one with gold, "are destined to be a merchant, so he gave you gold. And you, the third one, are destined to have herds and flocks, so he gave you money to buy livestock. In addition, he has suggested that all three of you will receive money." "How?" they asked. "Just return to your village now, and you will understand." And so they did. They took their portions. One bought livestock, one took land, and the last one took the gold. The one with the livestock didn't have pastures to feed his animals, so he asked his brother for a piece of land to plant. His brother responded, "You have livestock. If you want me to give you land, give me some of your livestock." So his brother gave him some livestock, and he obtained the land. The merchant conducted his business and made money. But he had no land to build a house, so he went to see his brother. When he saw him, he said, "My father gave me land, and he gave you money. But I don't have money." So they reached an agreement, and the merchant gave him money, and the farmer gave him land. In the end, all three had money, land, and livestock. Furthermore, all three lived in peace, getting what they needed. The first of the 10 Commandments is honor your father. In the past, children were good and listened to their parents, never quarreled, and lived happily. The nun who rescued the story explained that the river, the meadow, and the barren land in this story are symbols of the fact that God can do anything, and things are not under human control. The injera with which the third wise man ate is a flat, round bread typically made from teff, as we've seen in other videos. It is Ethiopian tortilla. This story speaks to the importance of working as a team, learning to listen and observe our elders who have more experience, and having faith. Today, more than ever, in a shaky and ever-changing world with many challenges ahead, it is more essential than ever to know how to live and work together as a team and as a family. Unity, solidarity, and respect are the values that will always keep us thriving. Thank you very much for getting this far. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, give us a thumbs up, and leave your thoughts about this story in the comments. Stay tuned because we'll soon bring you a special for the Day of the Dead. As always, it is a pleasure and an honor for us to share our culture with you. Have an excellent day, and we'll see you next week.